We are recording the questions also so that people usually, others can also understand. See, the problem today is it a problem or what do you call it? As a child of God, see, when you look at the world, when you say the world means the people of other faiths, every man realizes he is a sinner. Every man. And the biggest challenge before him is his conscience is convicting him. Why do we have Hollywood? Why do we have Disney World? What does it show? Man doesn't have that peace. He is in search of peace. And he's trying everything to anyhow experience that joy, that peace. He has wealth, but he is not content. So, when we look at other people, they have philosophers. And what's a philosopher doing? He's trying to figure out. He uses his intellect and tries to figure out what is life. Now, January and February, for around 45 days in India, we had that what you call, it's a festival. It's not a festival, it's a religious ritual. And that auspicious time comes, the last one was, it comes after 141 years. And when all these planets, they align in a single line, for them, the Hindus, it's a very auspicious time. That's when they go and take a dip in the holy Ganges. And their belief is, if they take a dip, all their sins will be forgiven. And 68 crores, how much is it?
60 million.
60 million. 60 million people gathered. And it was very hard managing the people. Hindus plus Western people. They came to this place, that is Prayagraj, and they just came to take a dip. Imagine 68 crores gathering in one place. There was a traffic jam 300 kilometers long, and the traffic jam was there for 48 hours. People rushing. Why? Look at the Buddhist. What the rituals that they are doing. Muslims, now it's their holy month when they are fasting. And when they are fasting, that spit will also not go in. They pray 5 times a day. So when you look at the different faiths, they have their own rituals and they are doing it with very religiously. They are not like us. Now among the Jains in India, they don't anything that grows below the ground. Anything, potatoes, onions, garlics, gingers, nothing. Their food is regulated. And their priests, they don't wear any clothes. And they are super rich. It's not that they are uneducated. They say that we have forsaken everything. And they are doing all of this, why? To anyhow experience the salvation that you and I are experiencing. The peace that we are experiencing. For that, they are sacrificing so much. And we, when we say we, means in general Christians, we don't realize how precious this salvation is. We take it for granted because we got it free. That's how it is. You don't pay anything, you don't understand the value. We take part in I kept this before you. Not that we have Holy Communion today, just to teach you about Holy Communion, how serious this is. Do we understand how precious this is? I haven't mixed anything, but it can bring judgment in your life. So many believers are cursed. They are genuinely cursed. because they did not take this seriously. So now why I'm saying this, in general we think the law is over, Christ fulfilled. Now we are free. We can do what we want. It's grace. That's how we are looking at God. Now, for example, the crazy modern trend, we don't share the cup. We just drink and we throw the cup. Do you realize? You throw this into the garbage bin. This represents the covenant that has been made. And the wine inside is the price that has been paid for this covenant. And people today, they say, yeah, sickness will spread, so we just drink and we just... You don't realize what you are doing. You made it a joke. The other day I was sharing with you, marriage for a child of God, water baptism, child dedication, water baptism, marriage, Holy Communion, funeral. These are 5, what you call, institutions. 5 serious things that declares before the world my faith. This is my faith that I am declaring. Now, for example, if you take marriage, the bride stands there as a representative of the Holy Church. Marriage ceremony is not something for the bride and groom to be happy about. You are standing in the presence of the Holy Church and triune God. It's not a contract. You are representing something that's going to happen in the days to come. And everything that you do is a shadow. It reveals deep spiritual truths in that marriage ceremony. In this also, all these services. When you cover our head, that's also revealing deep spiritual mystery. So you don't bring in anything that doesn't have any spiritual meaning. The white dress that the bride wears. Why is the father holding the hand of the bride and bringing her? Not only the bride, the bridegroom also. It's the father who has to hold his hand and bring him. Why? When the child was dedicated, the father gave the child into the pastor's hand. When you say pastor's hand means into God's hand. Prayed, questions are asked, you promise, there are vows, then we pray and give the child back to the father, not to the mother. And at the time of marriage, as the father brings the bride and the groom, you know the mindset of the father. I was handed this child. I tried my best, and with God's grace, I took care of this soul that God had entrusted me. And now I bring the child and place him in the presence of God. That's how serious it is. These are not photo op opportunities. Deep spiritual meanings. As the head of the house, it's God's grace to rear up the child. And now the time has come. My child is going into the next step of his life. And then the bride is there, white dress, that shows purity. You don't need the veil. That's a heathen practice, that the demons will see the bride. No, you cover your hair. You don't cover your face. And then you don't come with flowers. You don't come with flowers. You come with your precious Bible. Because this is the book that's the guide for your life. That flower, by evening, it's already wilted. It's already, when it's in your hand, it's dead. And by the evening, it will be in the garbage dump. By evening, that flower is in the garbage dump. And this, till your death, this is the book that helps you, guides you. So when you come and stand in the presence of God and you're going to take that vow, you hold the precious word in your hand. Because this is the word that will strengthen me to be faithful to the vows that I am taking. And then it's not the bride and the groom together, they on their own join hands. No, it's the minister who takes both their hands. It's God who joins, and that's a big miracle that has to happen. Two individuals born in different families, different circumstances, it is God who has to join them as one. And when they join, you hold the Bible. You join it in top of it. This is not about culture, this is about the deep spiritual significance. That's why in our wedding services, no rings, nothing. Why? You can remove the ring any moment. When you stand in the presence of God and you take your vows, you don't have any option to remove it. No. That's why we first ask, are you ready to accept that person as your husband? And you say yes. And now, say what I am saying, repeat. And the bride and the groom, they repeat. And God is witness, Holy Church is witness. And after marriage, how can you say? No, sir. That's a vow. This is not a contract that you sign and then later on you withdraw. No, sir. Because this is a shadow. Will Christ divorce his church? So that's why I'm saying this. Because today people don't realize how precious this salvation is. The law is over. Done. It's just like me taking the oath. I came to Canada, I took the oath. They gave me a book. I think that's what they do here. To the immigrants, they give you a book about all the laws and all, and they say, study, and then come for your exams. And then, yeah, we studied. We just mug up those 100. In US, it's just mugging up those 100 questions. And today, if you go and ask who is the governor of your state, I don't know. For the day when I was taking that oath, that day I learned. After that, I don't care. See, yesterday also I was saying, if you don't care about the law of the land, will you care about the law of heaven? Do you understand that? The law is not that what you are not supposed to do. You should know what you are supposed to do also. So in general today, believers, we say, it's grace. The law is over. The law will never be over, sir. Christ himself said, till heaven and earth. Yes, Matthew chapter 17. 5 verse 17, 18, 19. Not one jot will pass away. So I have to be aware when I am a child of God, I am what you call the heir, the principles of heaven. So yesterday we shared first my call. Do I realize how serious my call is? The wise, the mighty, and the noble. The noble, they're outside. But God chose me. And through my life, they have to realize my wisdom, my wealth, my good character is of no use. So as a child of God, I should be very careful. Don't take, because in other words, we say, I am, according to the scriptures, born again. Do we realize what that means? I have been given a new, brand new life. I've become a new creation. Old things are passed away. So when God has justified me, those words that we use, justified, fulfilled all righteousness, sanctified, glorified. These are not just words. These are not words. This is something that has to happen in my life. It's not those words that have been just remain there on the paper. I have been justified. Who can condemn someone whom God has not forgiven, but justified? No blot, no stain. So that's why I have to take my relationship with God so seriously. Any questions you have?
Yes, when he said, not one jot or tittle shall pass, what specifically law is he referring to? That law implanted in the conscience, or?
When you say the law, you have to understand what is the law. When Jesus said all the laws and the prophets, they hang on these, right? What does it mean, hang on? Everything else is based on this law. When you say the law, it's not the law of Moses or not the law of Ezra. No, the law means the law. Now, when you look at the Constitution of Canada, here you have two things. The British North American Act 1867 and the Constitution Act 1982. Two. And then you have so many other things. One by one, so many things are there. But when we talk about the law is just only one which has two facets. Only one law. And that is the law. Not the law of Moses. And that law was amplified on Mount Sinai, and that is the Ten Commandments. That one law has been amplified for us. It's not separate. So that one law, two facets. One is your relationship with God and the other is your relationship with man. So in the Ten Commandments, 4 are in relation to man and God. And 6 is relation to man. So when God says you have to love your neighbor as your own, does it cover your relationship with your parents? Does it cover? So this is the law. This will never change as long as God is there. This is there. You have to love Him with all your soul, all your mind, and all your heart. Nothing else. God doesn't demand you to offer sacrifice. No. In the Garden of Eden, the law is in force. No sacrifice. But the moment you broke that, then comes, you are immediately handcuffed and you are cursed. Now the same law that justified you, understand that, the same law that justifies you is condemning you. Do you understand that? Same law that justified you. Justified, not forgiven. The law will never forgive. That's not the nature of law. It doesn't understand what forgiveness is. You understand? Either you are guilty or you are acquitted. So the problem is we just mix up the jail manual for the law. In this constitution, they don't write what you will eat for breakfast in the prison. It's not mentioned what dress you will wear in the prison. It's not mentioned how you will be taken to the court and presented before the judge. It's not in the constitution, but it is mentioned in the jail manual. That's the jail protocol you have to follow. So offering sacrifices, observing those feasts, giving that tithe, circumcision, this is all the jail protocol, not the law. So now once you are out of the prison, the protocol doesn't apply on you anymore. because the guilty is inside and you are justified. And the law now looks at you, and till yesterday he was saying you are cursed. And now when the law looks at you, the law is not looking at you. The law is looking at whom? The one who took your place. So when Almighty God takes the human form, there are two important tasks before him. One, he has to make sure that he doesn't break any law, number one. And the next is, he has to pay the price as though he has broken every law. Can you see the irony? That's why that blood is coming out as sweat. If I had broken one law, the blood will not come out as sweat, sir. So can you understand the responsibility? Why did this carpenter, I'm saying carpenter because as man, spend whole night praying? From his birth till his death. Can you find sin in me? So that's why the difference between us and the people of other faiths is, people have other rituals, traditions. But for me, before me, there is an example that I have to follow. That's why Christianity is very dangerous. I say it's dangerous because someone set an example before us to follow. And I have to just look at him and follow. And when we say follow means apply God's principles in my day-to-day life. That's all. Christianity is applying God's principles in my day-to-day life. It's not singing, praying, worshiping God. It's walking with God as friend. That's the whole essence of Christianity. So now, as a child of God, I'm rushing, but just telling you, as a child of God, we don't need this. You don't have to be told what you're supposed to do. It has to come on its own. So I won't tell you about tithe. No, sir, you don't have to be taught about tithe. You're a child of God. You give cheerfully. You understand that? How's the relationship with the father and son? You don't have a rule book. It's a relationship. But if you're not born again, then you need all these steps. So when we say the law is just one. And that will never pass away. Never. So now, I am there inside the prison because of the same law. These laws, now I'm using this book, don't think I'm talking about the Constitution of Canada, just to give you an example. These laws' demands have to be fulfilled. No forgiveness, no concessions. And this law demands death. Death. So we need to realize the lawgiver. That's why yesterday I said, for the Jews, he is a stumbling block. And for the Gentiles, this carpenter is that's foolishness. Any more questions? Is it clear? The law. So don't think that sacrifice and those are statutes, commandments. There are ordinances and there are judgments. That's this. Apart from the law, you have statutes, commandments, ordinances, and judgments. That's entirely different. All these came into place, or all these came into force because you broke the law. Because you broke the law. If man had not broken the law, there was no need for statutes, no need for any commandments, no need for any judgments. And the other important factor is, man broke the law, one. Next, he is the slave of sin. So how will you restore this man who is a rebel at heart? How has he become a rebel? Because of sin has made him a rebel. Now, for example, now in the Canadian or the North American context, children grow up. And they were so small, right? Now, the other day, Benjamin, my grandchild, just this much, 2.5 kilograms, that's all. And now he grows up, he has a beard, he has a mustache, and now he says, don't try to teach me, I know. Telling whom? Not his wife. Telling whom? Hey, youngsters are here, I am talking to you. Tomorrow, how do you look at your parents? I know, don't try to teach. Now you are grown old. You know nothing. We know everything. Now what's that? Till yesterday, holding on to your pants and your skirts and asking 101 questions. Didn't allow us to sit still. We taught you how to brush your teeth. We taught you how to take bath. We taught you how to eat. And now, you grow up and you say, you know nothing. Huh? You know nothing. Now the modern trend that we are seeing around the globe, parents are in old age home. What's that? The children have no time to take care of their parents. The parents could have done the same thing to these children. Now when they grow up, they don't have time. In India, it happened. I'll be using those examples. One army officer, he's retired. His wife is also, they are retired and they are not old age. 2 sons. Both of them are in the United States. They came to meet their parents, and then the father overheard these 2 boys talking. And you know what? The elder one is telling the younger one, when mom dies, you come. And when father dies, I'll come. Who is hearing? An army colonel, his 2 sons, just 2 children. The pain, the sacrifice that they did to hear this. Is this life? We sacrificed everything for these 2 boys. And now they are in United States and they too are saying, talking to each other, when mother dies, you come, I won't get holidays. And when father dies, you come. The father kept quiet. He didn't say anything. And when the boys came over here, he just sends them a cool letter. I am so proud of my 2 sons. I and my wife, we did our best, gave you the best education, did everything for you. And we are so proud to hear you both saying, when the mother dies, one will come. When the father dies, the other will come. And I just want to let you know, I have willed in my will that I have given all my property to a NGO. Don't take the trouble, both of you, don't take the pain of coming here. Goodbye. So when the father is alive, he gave the whole property to whom? To a NGO. And he says, I'm so proud of 2 of you. This is how you talk. What is this? Is it not sin talking? In today's world, don't say the word sin. It gives us a guilty conscience. That's the state of affairs. That's why when we raise up our child, when God gives a child, you need lot of prayers, lot of care, so that they grow up in God's fear. And they are my next generation. Today we just tell the school, you teach. And one strange thing, we teach our children so much and most of it, they don't need it in their life. We teach so many things. We think it's the school education that's going to train up. No, the parents are the ones who have to train up the child in God's fear. So sin, if it gets hold of me, it takes control of my whole being. The way I think, the way I act. So yesterday I shared with you the symptoms of sin. Afraid of death. No relationship with God. Pride has taken root. I think, when pride comes in, what do I think? I'm someone. And I'm self-centered. I don't care about others. So any more questions? The seriousness of sin. Now the whole moral standard has been destroyed. Youngsters have any questions? You need to understand, your parents, they sacrifice everything for you. Everything for you. And when their body is weak, they grow old, it's your responsibility to take care of them. And that's the comfort the parents have, my children taking care of me. And there is a blessing with that. Don't think now my parents are grown old and they are headaches. When will they die? They are a nuisance now. Someone is watching and you will be paid in that same currency when your time comes. So it's not that when I grow up and I find a job and I fly away, leave my parents alone. And then on Father's Day I come with what? With a flower. It hurts. It would be better you don't even turn up on the Father's Day.
What are you referring to the jail? What do you mean the jail and out of the jail?
Your freedom is gone. When I say prison or jail means, when a person is in prison, what has happened to him? That's it. The moment you broke the law, your freedom is gone. Now you are under precepts, statutes, commandments. You obey it, otherwise you are dead.
So why are you referring to the jailhouse manual then?
Because these 613, what is it?
This is what you're calling.
Yeah. 613 is the jail manual. Now, your whole life will be regulated. Your freedom is gone. Just like in the prison, you have to wake up at 5. There's a roll call. Breakfast is served at the right time. You are not given what you want. You'll eat what we give. We decide when you'll be out. We decide when you will sleep. So you are confined in that small space. There's a washroom. Have you seen on the videos a cell? The washroom is there. And the food is brought in. You don't go to the dining hall. You don't say, I want to play basketball, I'll play. This is prison, sir. You'll be here. Everything. That's what 613 is. Morning sacrifice, evening sacrifice. If you are rich, this is the animal that you will bring. If you are poor, this is the bird that you will bring. Passover is there. Unleavened bread is there. Make sure you do it, otherwise you are dead. You understand? Because, now why do you put the handcuff here and not here? Have you seen someone? They put your hands back. Why? And then put the handcuff. How can you remove it? Same way, God's justice put the handcuffs of man. Your freedom is over. Now you walk out of the garden. Your whole life will be regulated. I will decide what you will eat. I will decide how you will farm. I'll decide how you will treat your slaves. You understand that? 613. And now, what are we thinking? Oh, Christ died, we can do anything we want, and then we can just say, Lord, forgive me. Forgive me, cleanse me with your precious blood. Thank you for dying on the cross for me. I am remembering you. After drinking, throwing it into the garbage. Oh, thank you, Lord, for dying for me. And on the other hand, you say, yeah, I'm waiting to go where? I'm going to heaven. Is it true? Will I go? Do you have that assurance? So if you study, take your time, and I'm just giving you this list. How they are regulated, how you will deal with the poor. Now suppose you are farming. Thank God, the law is not this, we are free, right? If the manual is there, can you harvest all the corners of the field? Huh? And then the grain that has fallen down, can you pick it up? Huh? 7th year, are you farming? Sabbath every week, are you working? How regulated it is. That's why I call it the prison. All the poor, all the homeless will be there when you are harvesting. Right? Can you stop them? Can you stop them? No, this is our farm. No one is allowed. No, sir. The law says it is theirs also. And at the end, you are so fed up, you say, no point in farming. I'm selling the land. And along with the homeless, the Levites will come, right? He's measuring all the grain sacks. The 10th, keep it here, the 10th. So at the end of the day, you are sitting here, man, what's the point in? Because sin makes you think this land is mine. But in God's righteousness, this land belongs to the homeless also. You are farming, the birds will also feed from your fields. The land belongs to me, not yours. I gave it to you. The same principle applies. The child is not yours. Though you have given your surname, the child is not yours. Don't make a mistake. I have given this child on loan. So the more children you have, the more, you understand? Now people in India, my experience, I go to the gas station, there are people, sir, credit card, we'll offer you credit card. People call me on the phone, sir, we'll give you loan. I say, no problem, give me. I didn't call you, give me, but don't ever expect that I'll pay back. No. They say, why? I said, I never called you in the first place. You are calling me and saying that we want to give you money on loan. I said, give as much as you want. I have no problem, I'll take, but never expect. So same way, when God gives you one child, you have no idea. Maybe he'll be the next apostle. Maybe he'll be a missionary. Maybe he'll be a scientist. That's a precious soul that God has entrusted. Now, how we look at ministry, that's what we teach the ministers also. Though I am sitting here, I am teaching you the word. I am Ananias. Maybe a Paul is sitting here. You get the idea? I am just Ananias. My job is just to call you brother. That's all. Maybe a Paul is sitting here. Same way, your son. Jesse, you send your boy away. You're looking at your other boys who are tall. And you didn't even tell him today Samuel is coming. But that boy, he is a man according to my own heart. Just imagine Jesse going to the palace to see his son called David. David's elder brothers, how they look at him. He went to the battlefield, took food for them, right? And now, today also, on the El Al Airlines, or when you look at the Israeli flag, can you see the Star of David? The one man, the greatest statesman the world has ever seen, the smartest general that the world has ever seen, he used to fight in the front. And a time came that his life inspired the generations, that a time came when the others are saying, we don't want you to be there. You be at the back. We will lead the charge. We have seen you. And that's enough. Youngsters inspired by one David, and they are telling him, don't lead, we'll lead. A man according to God's own heart. Can my life inspire the next generation? If my life doesn't inspire, then what's the use of this one life? What's the use? I go to the grave and no one will remember me. So that's why, as a child of God, I have to remember my high calling. One Joseph. Just meditate on that fact. Joseph and Jacob, they are hugging each other and they are crying. The pain they went through. And then a time comes. He is a blessing for his own family. He realized God's plan, and on his deathbed, what is he telling? When you go, I'll go with you. That's faith, right? And that one Joseph's bones inspired someone who is going to be the next Pharaoh. Do you understand how your life can inspire someone? Take a decision that can change the course of history. Moses, as he sits alone, he looks at that Joseph. That's how precious our life is. So is the law clear? Jail, have you understood? Your freedom is gone. So now, in regard to that, after coming out of the prison, have you learned some lessons in the prison? Now, regulate your life according to it.
Yeah, so the law in Sinai was directly given. And then the law of Jesus.
Ten Commandments.
Yes. And Jesus said, of these two hang all the law, to love the Lord your God and then to love your neighbor. How was that directly given?
Now, turn to that same scripture. I pray that the Lord helps us to understand. So Romans chapter 2, verse 14. Verse 13 also. Romans chapter 2, verse 13. The reason I am want you to ask questions so that you can go home, meditate on the scripture, and you have anything you need clarifications, feel free. Because there are so many things in that portion and it's not easy to explain everything. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. Now verse 14, for when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, having not the law, are a law unto themselves. Verse 15, which shew the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience, also bearing witness, and their thoughts, the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. So what have we understood from that scripture? When God created man, look at how he has placed that conscience in man. Now just imagine, I did not have the conscience. I am a man. Now, for example, that's the danger with AI, artificial intelligence. The problem is, it doesn't have conscience. It is programmed. And you know how frightening artificial intelligence is. How frightening. Now when God creates man, he puts that conscience. And in that law is engraved. You don't have to be told the law. It is there in your heart. And the Gentiles, here it says, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law. So here, now in the schools, you have to teach so many things. Because it's not there. Now, today's moral standards, you have to come up with an education policy where you have to use words. Now, how will you address a person like this? We don't have words, so we have to come up with a word, they, them, right? This is something that has to be taught. It's not there in your conscience. But what's put in your conscience, you don't have to teach. Without teaching, man on his own is revealing the law. Now I come to your house, I see your cell phone lying there. I don't take it. I don't. No one has to tell me, please don't take that phone that's lying there, it's not yours. No one has to tell me, it is there. And just imagine if this law was not there. I just walk away with your phone and then you come and say, yeah, it was my phone. Okay, yeah, take it. I never say that word sorry. So the Gentiles, let it be anyone. Everyone has the law. Now, have you seen the children saying a lie? Can you catch your children? When your children say a lie, does the mother recognize it? Or does she have to pray and ask the Lord, Lord, help me? How does the mother catch? The conscience is so sensitive in a child. He has not mastered the art of lying. He's so sensitive. And you see it on you just see it on his face. Why? The law is there. The law is there in the conscience. And the child knows. The child, I'm not talking about the grown-up. The child knows I have done something I'm not supposed to do. And just imagine if the conscience was not there and it was our parents' responsibility to teach the child what is right and wrong, then what would have been the state of affairs? So the law, when God created, it has already been placed in the conscience. So Now, is it clear? And then on Mount Sinai, 2 tablets. Why? Man, now he has to realize why all of this is there. And the 10 commandments were written on stone, right? Engraved, written on 2 sides. And these 2 tablets are placed in the ark. You have to understand another thing, 613 is not placed inside the ark. It's only the 10 commandments, 2 tablets. That's the thing that's placed inside the ark, not the 613. So that ark, the Ark of Covenant, when it is placed before you, is it declaring a statement how holy God is? And I shared that subject, taught that subject earlier, so I don't want to go back into it. So the nature of God. So no more questions? We'll move on.